This is part 2 of the battle between the humanoid divine trees and the shinobi of Konoha. Watch the previous video to see how the battle between Sarada and Hidari went. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. The sky over Konoha was tinted with deep shadows, and yet a faint light persisted, the harbinger of a battle that would never be forgotten. Himawari, though young, breathed with a calmness that belied her age. She knew JUURA was no ordinary enemy. He was the embodiment of destruction, cunning, and power that no shinobi had faced before. The dimension created by JUURA's Rinnegan isolated them, a space of liquid reality, with fragments of rocks floating and streams of pure energy pulsing like the veins of a giant beast. She felt his presence even before seeing him. A chill ran down her spine mixed with a spark of determination. JUURA materialized as a colossal shadow, his eyes glowing with black energy that seemed to suck the light around him. "So, the little Uzumaki stands in my way," his voice echoed like distant thunder. "Let's see if you truly deserve the power you carry." Himawari closed her eyes for a moment, took a deep breath, and felt Kurama's energy pulsating inside her. An ancient and deep connection, as if the beast itself was whispering, "We are one. Do not fear." With that, the energy began to envelop her body, a golden aura illuminating the scarlet dimension in contrast to JUURA's darkness. The first attack came without warning. JUURA launched a wave of black chakra that tore through space, and Himawari barely had time to react. With an agile leap, she dodged, feeling the impact lift stones and make the air ripple. But she did not merely dodge. With her right hand, she channeled Kurama's chakra, creating a shimmering barrier that absorbed part of the attack and reflected the energy back, making JUURA retreat slightly. "Interesting? You are not as weak as you appear." His smile was cruel, but his eyes betrayed a hint of respect. Himawari advanced, her fists wrapped in chakra, striking the ground with enough force to create fissures that spread like rivers of molten lava. Each impact vibrated through the dimension, and JUURA leapt, launching a series of black energy projectiles. Himawari evaded gracefully, but she knew that alone would not be enough. She needed to release the power latent within her, something she had never used in real battle before. Then she remembered Naruto's words. "Himawari, true strength does not come only from skill, but from the will to protect." The memory ignited her spirit. Her chakra began to vibrate in increasingly intense waves. Kurama's tail residing within her began to manifest partially, enveloping her body in an aura of golden and red energy. Each breath made the ground tremble. Each step distorted the air. She felt the power of the Tensagen awakening, a pale blue glow enveloping her eyes, merging her determination with Kurama's energy and the Hyuga legacy. JUURA attacked again, concentrating black energy into giant hands that could crush mountains. Himawari dodged, but this time, instead of retreating, she advanced with surprising speed, leaving trails of golden chakra in the air. With a shout, she struck JUURA directly with a combined blast, pure Uzumaki chakra and Tensagen force in formation. The collision created an explosion that illuminated the entire dimension, sending fragments of rock and waves of energy in all directions. JUURA staggered but remained standing. His body radiated black energy, and he launched a sealing technique that began forming around Himawari. But she did not retreat. Concentrating all her strength, she touched the ground, spreading chakra-like roots that anchored into the dimensional space, nullifying JUURA's technique almost instantly. The next moment was a dance of attacks and defenses, each strike more intense than the last. Himawari blended taijutsu with ninjutsu and Kurama's chakra, each movement flowing as if part of a divine choreography. She felt Kurama's presence guiding every step, every impulse, every breath. The dimension was collapsing, but she was at the peak of her power, advancing further against the enemy who seemed almost invincible. At the apex of the battle, Himawari gathered all her energy into a colossal form. Her aura grew until it merged with the very dimension, and the Tensagen shone intensely, opening portals of blue light that intertwined with Kurama's energy. She knew it was now or never. "Kurama and I are one," she shouted, and the power release surpassed anything JUURA could imagine. Every strike of his was repelled, every thrust neutralized until finally, in a combined attack of chakra and pure force, Himawari hurled him against the edges of the dimension. Breaking the Rinnegan barrier and crushing his malevolent energy, JUURA fell, defeated, his form disintegrating before the intensity of the combined power. Himawari, exhausted but alive, floated, enveloped in a golden and blue aura, her eyes shining with the newly awakened Tensegan. She had transcended her limits, becoming a force few could comprehend. On the horizon, the dimensional space began to reconstruct, but the presence of another battlefield drew her attention. A new tension formed, and Himawari knew that the fight against Mamushi and Ada was about to begin. And at the same moment, a familiar shadow crossed the horizon. Boruto and Demon were about to enter the scene. The fate of Ada and the final battle was approaching, and all signs indicated that the combined power of the new generation shinobi would be tested like never before. This is part 2 of the battle between the humanoid divine trees and the shinobi of Konoha. Watch the previous video to see how the battle between Sarada and Hidari went. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications.